Hello everybody, I am the Inconsequential Runner. Welcome back to the channel. What I thought I'd do is make a short version of the about 20-minute video that I had made previously, months ago, to do with how to spot fake running shoes from real running shoes, especially for the Asics Superblast. So while I'm getting my legs recovered, I'm going to edit that video and post it. So this is the short version. If you want the longer video, dig back or I'll put it up at the end. Otherwise, let's get it down to about 5 minutes. So I'm going to edit it now while I'm doing this. It's going to follow right now. Enjoy. Bye. This is the Asics Superblast, and this is my shoe of the year. In fact, it is my favorite shoe of all time. I've worn over 100 different pairs of running shoes, and this is my favorite shoe of all time, the Asics Superblast. Now, I wanted a second pair, so I ended up acquiring these, but these are fakes. So what I'm going to share with you is why. Firstly, why they're fakes, how you can spot them, and I know that these shoes tend to be a lot cheaper than these, the fakes over the originals. Are they good value for money? The clear answer is, and I'll explain better why as we go through this video, but the answer is no. So I took a closer look at the shoes, and I found, and thankfully, because I've got a legitimate pair, I was able to compare the legitimate pair to the fake pair, and I noticed pretty quickly that this pair is counterfeit, because I'd never run in a counterfeit shoe before. But what I can tell you is these two are not the same shoe. Quite obviously they're not the same because one's counterfeit. But what I'm saying is they're not the same because they perform markedly differently. They are not even close. This shoe is amazing. This shoe is just, it's horrid. So not only is it against the law to be making shoes like this, but it should be a crime because of the quality of the shoe. There are some visual giveaways, so let's get into those now. And the first thing is that's the tongue. So when you squeeze the tongue of the counterfeit, I'll call it just the fake shoe, there's just no padding, no cushioning. I mean, it looks like there is, but there's nothing there. In the Asics, I'm going to call it the Asics because that's the only one that is the Asics. You can feel it. It's there. When you look at the toe box, there's quite a bit of a difference right at the stitching at the end of the toe box. So the stitching here is single stitched. The stitching on the Asics is double stitched. When you look inside the shoe, the stitching inside the shoe is, and again I might throw up photos where it's easier to see, is just this cross stitch, where the stitching inside on the Asics is a much better quality stitching. You can obviously see the difference. Okay, the sole itself, that's where some of the midsole and the outsole, that's where some of the big differences are. Let's talk about the outsole first, and then we'll talk about the midsole. Now the outsole, this pair, the Asics, have done 500 kilometers. This pair here, when the person sold them to me, I understand that they did about 40 kilometers in them, and I've only done about 20 kilometers in it. But let's round it up. Let's say 100. It's not, but let's say it's 100. The wear is essentially the same. So 500 kilometers. In fact, it's actually better on this shoe, which means the outsole on this shoe is just burning away. Absolutely burning. There's no way the compound is even similar, even the same. Okay, let's keep rolling through it, because the big one's still to come, and the big tip. When you look at the injection mold marks, they are different on the two shoes. So on the Asics, there is considerably more injection mold marks. So when you look at the back of the shoe, around the heel counter, there's a number of mold marks there. Lettering, of course. When you look at the FF Turbo, for that foam that's used in the midsole, that lettering is cleaner and crisper, where the lettering is slightly blurred and the font's not 100% the same. So you've got those. You won't see it here visually, but when you do the stack height and you compare them next to each other, oh, maybe you can. Maybe you can. It is, and I had it on the floor when I took the photo, but the stack height of the midsole is higher on the Asics, and also where it goes under your ankle was higher on the Asics too, where it cups on the upper. Oh, now interestingly, let's talk about the upper. So the gentleman who sold me this pair here, US 10, this is a US 10. The upper on this is way more vague, way more vague. So this feels more like an 11. It's a horrible feel. And again, that was something I noticed yesterday in my run with it. Because the socks I usually wear for this, I wore with my run in this one. Actually, here's another telltale sign. You can see the upper here, nice and smooth and across. We're here. Can you see how it sort of juts out a little bit? So really, really vague upper, lots of loose material. And then again, you won't perhaps see this, and you can only really see it when you put it side to side. But when you look at the Flight Foam Blast indentations, a lot cleaner on the Asics and on the fake. Just, a little bit blurry. Other sort of markings on the outsole you can see. Now here's the big one. Here is the big one. I threw these on the scales. So I only discovered it was a fake when I went for a run yesterday, and it felt terrible. Or I felt terrible. And then I thought, is it the shoes? Looked at the shoes. I could start to see differences. And I thought, check the weight. The weight will tell you. Because if there's one thing the fakes don't do, is they don't replicate the weights of the originals. Or at least I guessed, right? And I think I'm right. I know I'm right in the case of these shoes. This, in the US size 10, the Asics, 245 grams. Have a quick guess what the weight was in this. 320 grams. 320 versus 245. 75 gram difference for what supposedly is the same shoe. So when, as I say, someone commented on one of my previous posts when I was talking about this shoe being shoe of the year, how they buy the fakes and they find them just as good. I can tell you it's not the same shoe, not even close. We're talking a 75 gram difference between the two shoes. Now, I took this shoe out for a run this morning to compare to my experience with this shoe yesterday. World of difference. World of difference. Much faster with much less effort. This thing pops and it rolls. So, a couple of things. One is be really wary about buying shoes that when someone posts them and they say it's not the right size for them. Because depending on the brand of shoe, some brands will take the shoes back if they're not the right size. So for that brand, if they're saying, hey, it's not the right size, then they've actually got an ability to return the shoe, which is better than on selling it. So be wary about those brands that accept returns, but someone's selling them saying it's the wrong size. Because if they can't return them, then they probably didn't buy them direct from a reputable organization. That's the first tip. The second tip is this. Get them to send you a photo of the shoes on the scales, and you can do one of two things. If you've already got the shoe yourself, you can check, which is what I wanted. I wanted an exact replica of what I've got, so I can alternate day to day. I'm not burning out this version of the Superblast. And in New Zealand and Australia, we couldn't get them. So the fact that someone had them, and it wasn't the right size for them, I thought it was perfect for me. But get them to put the shoe on the scale and take a photo and send it through. And that could save both you and them a lot of, I was going to say angst. Yeah, anxiety. Yeah, why not? So get them to weigh the shoes, put them on the scale and send them through. So you will either weigh your shoe and you'll know the exact weight, or you can go online and look at the specs. And if they're not within a couple of grams, then yeah. I mean, look at this, a 75 gram difference. There it is. all there in a nutshell. Okay, that's it. That's it. So that's, I don't know what to do with these. I don't know what to do with, well, I'm sending them back. What I'm saying is, I don't know what you would do if you've got them. I would have bought the shoe at Shoe Clinic or some reputable retailer if they were in stock. I don't mind paying extra and knowing that I'm getting the right shoe. So in terms of value, I know you can get these for whatever. Even if this is half the price of this, even if this is a fifth the price of this, it is not worth it. And I'll tell you why I just said a fifth. Because remember, the wear and tear, I said this isn't even 100 kilometers. This is 500 kilometers. It's the same wear. So all of a sudden, this shoe's only worth a fifth of the shoe. And remember, the quality of the shoe, 75 grams heavier than the shoe. And the foam is different. It feels horrible in the shoe compared to this shoe. So, I mean, this shoe isn't even worth 5% of the shoe if you take those into account. That the wear is going to be 5 times faster, that you're carrying an extra 75 grams, and that the foam doesn't respond as well. I mean, this shoe is not even worth, you're probably risking an injury, to be honest, running with this shoe. And if you're the company that makes these, don't. Why? You could literally improve it and release it under your own brand. Come up with your own brand. It's actually not that bad in terms of its finish and everything. Just go to the next degree and take a bit of pride in what you do and release your own brand. Why copy someone else's? Well, I know why, but where's your soul, man? Come on. Honestly, it's not a bad replica in terms of, I mean, the weights are appalling and the foam's crap and stuff like that. But in terms of the replication, it's really not that bad. It would easily fall. If I didn't have this shoe, then I probably would have, I don't know, worn this for a while and just thought, what's all the fuss about with Superblast? It's not that great. But it's only because I've had this shoe that when I put these on and went for that first run, I was like, no, something's not right. The shoe didn't feel right, and it occurred to me that evening. So, support your local retailer, pay the little bit more. It's way better value, and yeah, you'll have less sleepless nights. And it means you know how that shoe performs. If you have run in this shoe, the fake, you have no idea what an Asics Superblast is. Okay, that's it. Take care. Catch you in the next one.